This game is finally dead. I can't believe it took this long to happen. I mean, you'd think they would have canceled it right after the first just absolute destruction of the player base of this game. But they kept going. They kept putting out new seasons to try to get that downloadable content model going, and it just never took off because it was just woke and stupid. So Warner Brothers finally kills off Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League after taking out over $200 million in impairment charges. Wow. This is going to be a disaster for them. And they know it, and this is what's happening with AAA gaming across the board as they're spending hundreds of millions of dollars on woke content that no gamers want because they want to push a diversity, equity, and inclusion agenda on you rather than actually producing good games that are fun. It's absolutely insidious, and it's stupid, and they're wasting a lot of investor money doing so, but I'm loving watching these companies get gutted across the board, and we'll talk about what's going to happen here in just a moment. Please smash that like and subscribe button. Join us here. We're getting close to 50,000 subscribers. Really appreciate you all for being there and supporting our channel. And this is our Fandom Pulse Substack, guys. This is where the articles are written that every YouTuber uses. Myself and John Trent, who was the former editor-in-chief of Bounding Into Comics for years, are running this Substack right now because we are doing it on a platform that does not require advertising revenue, which means we can actually tell the complete truth without having to censor ourselves because the advertisers do this. This is why a lot of sites are really bad. This is why Bounding Into Comics has fallen off so much. So he's joined me here, and we're doing this all with support from gamers like you. So please come, and I'll put this in the description below. Subscribe to us, support our journalism so that we can be sustainable. If it's only $5 a month just to support us and give it a Substack membership here, and that will keep us going. So that's a Starbucks cup of coffee a month, and we do this full-time for you. So please support us. Come in today. It's in the description below, and really appreciate you for being there. All right, so Warner Brothers Discovery and Rocksteady Studios announced it will finally kill off its beleaguered Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League game in January 2025. Wow. In a blog post providing details about the game's fourth season. I can't believe it went that long. Rocksteady announced with Deathstroke joining the roster, Suicide Squad's crusade against Brainiac is drawing to an end. Season 4 will finish up with Episode 8, which is scheduled to release January 25 and will serve as the last seasonal episode for Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. Womp womp. While Season 4 Episode 8 will mark the final battle against Brainiac, all online features will continue to be available, so you'll be able to enjoy co-op with your friends, as well as previous seasonal episodic content. You also have the option to play the game via a new offline mode. Wow, now they give you an offline mode, of course, which allows access to the main story campaign and post-launch seasonal gameplay content without the internet connection, the company added. This just goes to show how scammy these companies are, by the way, that when they want you to sign up for a network, they want to put your email in there, data mine you, make you sign up for a season pass, etc., and then you're forced to play online when you can't even play these games offline. I mean, it really is a complete scam to try to just milk people as pay pigs, and this is part of the problem with AAA gaming. Wake up, people who are developing this kind of stuff. I mean, you should just give people a freaking game and let them play it. And obviously, it was possible to play. I'm going to rant here because I hate this kind of thing. Obviously, it was possible to play offline, and it was designed that way because you now can once they've shut this thing down so that they don't have to. It's just mind-boggling that they do this to people. They really treat gamers so poorly beyond even just the content itself. Just this kind of business practices is bad business practices and should be called out at every single point. But it's really funny with the Deathstroke thing. This is like the one character people might have been interested in playing this entire time. Like, Deathstroke's awesome, and having just normal Deathstroke, not Lady Deathstroke or gay Deathstroke or whatever, is something that actually might have been able to sell the game. Nobody really wanted to play as lesbian Harley Quinn or trans Mr. Freeze. I mean, come on, pretty obvious. Now that the game's ending, this is what they come out with. Absolutely ridiculous of them. It goes to show they just do not have their priorities straight whatsoever. The game's cancellation is no surprise. It only achieved a peak all-time concurrent player count of just 13,459 players. That's a little bit more than Indiana Jones has right now. When it released at the beginning of February, the game's players quickly abandoned the game, with the game having 24 hours of peak of less than 200 players throughout the month of November. So nobody's playing this. Nobody's playing the new season. Seasons 2, 3, and 4 did not generate new player bases. They did not come back in, and people didn't even stick with the game who were playing it to begin with. This is an absolute failure for a AAA game. A AAA game like this needs over 100,000 people playing, as we know, to be anywhere near a success. So we're looking at less than a tenth of that at the peak, and we're looking at like 100th of that at this point. So Warner Brothers also admitted it took out a $200 million impairment charge on the game. That's a big loss. The company's CFO said during a company's first quarter earnings result webcast, said, starting with studios, the $400 million year-over-year decline during Q1 was primarily due to a very tough comp we faced in games against successes of Hogwarts Legacy last year in the first quarter, in conjunction with the disappointing Suicide Squad release this past year, which we impaired, leading to a $200 million impact to EBITDA during the first quarter. That's crazy. So they revealed their entire company's game division had over $300 million of write-downs. And right here, just the comparison to Hogwarts Legacy, you do something that's just a honor to the property, that is a property that people like. You don't listen to the woke people, because if you remember, I know this is going back to like deep internet history, because a year ago is a lot for people to remember. But Hogwarts Legacy had controversies. People were canceling streamers simply for playing the game, trying to force that game to be a failure. And it was a success anyway, just because it was a fun game that did honor to the property. This is DC Comics. You had a Arkham Asylum property here, which everybody loved, which was fantastic before, and you just totally butchered it and just went full woke with it, didn't honor the property, and this is exactly what happens. I mean, it seems like these studios should be able to figure this out. When you've got hundreds of millions of dollars in investments, this should be a very simple call to just do what the gamers want, but they can't, all because of wokeism, because that identity politics matters more to them than anything else. Results were impacted for games which we took another $100 million plus impairment due to the underperforming releases, primarily Multiverses this quarter, bringing total write-down year-to-date over $300 million in our games business, a key factor to this year's studio profit decline. The game also suffered from having been worked on by woke DEI consultancy Sweet Baby Inc., and this is where it died. If Sweet Baby Inc. is involved, it is a dead on arrival game every single time. We've seen it time after time this year. And thanks, Cabrutus, again, for making this list on Steam. You did the world a service so that we all could learn to avoid these games. We all could just boycott these games, and we saw what happened. It collapsed the entire woke video game segment of the industry. It really was his doing, and it is a beautiful thing that happened. Gamers rose up, and gamers said no. And it was absolutely a wild time this last spring. Given Sweet Baby Inc.'s worked on the game was also added to the Detected Curator list, which acts as a boycott list for gamers, has over 460,000 followers as of this writing. Now, that is a big number, and that is enough to shift markets, guys, and that is what's really cool. Vera Dark noted about this: the game was an insult to players given how it throws half the character development from Arkhamverse games away. This is what they always do. You're killing off your fan favorite character. I get it, right? It's called Kill the Justice League. I'm fine with them killing a character as long as they do it in a way that makes sense to the story and is also respectful. Spoiler alert, look at Batman and the way they killed him. It felt hateful, not just because of the characters, but because the writers and their conscious decision to basically give Arkhamverse fans the middle finger and completely disappoint us. And that's the deal. They want you to buy these games. It's like a humiliation ritual. Kill your fan favorites like Batman. Do it in a denigrating way. And it's because Batman to them represents the white male patriarchy, with Bruce Wayne being a billionaire. And they want to fight that. And they want to fight that with their weird token diversity crap. And so this is what destroys games every single time. This should be a lesson like none other. This is like a case study in business of what not to do for video game companies. But we've got so many more down the pipelines. We're going to see this type of thing happening with BioWare, with Dragon Age: The Veilguard. We've got Ubisoft with Star Wars Outlaws, and we've seen Ubisoft's in very, very dire straits at this point. And I actually think it's going to happen with Rockstar Games as well, with Grand Theft Auto 6 coming next year, because they're doing the exact same thing with that franchise that they've been doing here. These AAA games just have to go, and you guys can save video games by simply not buying this stuff. It's going to take 2-3 years to flatten the curve. All these people are going to be washed out of the industry, and we're going to make video games great again. Leave a comment down below with what you think about this. Hit the like and subscribe button. And please, guys, sign up for our Fandom Pulse Substack where we break the news every day. And we're the first ones out there. We're the frontline reporters that are calling it as it is and calling out these woke companies. We appreciate you for being there. It's $5, only a Starbucks cup of coffee to sign up and support us. It's in the description below. Thank you for being there.